Yeah, I'm going to give you the injury updates. I'm going to give you some trade rumors. But most importantly, I'm going to give you the roadmap to defeating the New York Giants on Sunday. Don't overthink it. There's going to be a whole lot of these, but you're going to want to stay tuned on your Daily Commanders update for 19 October. Let's go. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to your Daily Commanders update for 19 October. Here on Ref the District, I am the Stoner, and we are a proud member of the Believe Network. Make sure you hit that like and you hit that subscribe. And if you are listening to us on any of the audio platforms, make sure you give us a rating and review. We appreciate all of you. We appreciate you for watching this video and sharing it and giving comments, all that good stuff. Let's get right to it. I'm not going to bury the lead here. I'm going to give you the roadmap to defeating the New York Giants on Sunday. It's really simple. You got to not overthink it. Run the ball. That's all there is to it. From an offensive standpoint, they just have to run the ball. That's it. Why are we overthinking this so much? Let me give you the stats on why that's so important. The New York Giants are giving up an average of 147 yards per game. That's astronomical, by the way. It's 31st in the league. They're terrible at stopping the run. So why aren't we just running the ball? Some people have said to us that, well, Washington doesn't run the ball well. Look at some of these games. We have 6 carries for 10 yards or 12 carries for 18 yards. Listen, Washington runs the ball just fine. The offensive line does not stink at running the ball. They don't. They're actually very, very good at it. If you look at the numbers, Washington averages 4.3 yards per carry. That's 11th best in the league. They're almost top 10 in yards per carry. The problem is they don't run the ball enough. And if you want to say, well, yeah, you can't run the ball when you're down 27-3 at halftime in Chicago, sure, that's an outlier. I totally get that. They ran the ball 6 times the entire game, which is outrageous regardless of what the score is. But every other game they've been in for most of the game, even though they lost to Buffalo 37-3, let's not forget it was 16-0 in the fourth quarter. They were still 2 scores away. They can still run the ball. B-Rob ran the ball that day 10 times for 70 yards. Now, there are some teams that those yards per carry get overinflated because they have a whole bunch of these 70-yard runs. If you look at Miami, they average like 7 yards per carry, something like that, because they have those speed demons who are getting 70-yard runs and 80-yard runs and all that, and it inflates their yards per carry. Washington doesn't do that. The longest run they've had this year is 27 yards. So that 4.3 yards per carry is a very good indicator of what they do basically on every time they carry the ball. They just have to do it more. They've only rushed the ball an average of 20.7 times per game. 20.7. So if they would run the ball more, and by the way, 20.7 is 30th in the league. 32, 31, 30th in the league of the number of times they run the ball. They're not running it enough. That's the problem. We can all talk about this whole new age of football and how we have all these young coaches and these analytics and all these nerds in the front office. Nerds, I use that, as a term of endearment, okay? And they're all trying to figure out all these different ways with these analytics, and let's go for it on 4th down every time, and let's do 2-point conversions when we pull within 8 points instead of just kicking the extra point. I'll never get that, but that's what the sheet says, the analytics sheet. It all still comes down to who wins the battle in the trenches. The offensive line and defensive line. Can you run the ball? Can you keep the other team off your quarterback? That's another thing that a successful run game does, is it keeps that clock running. It keeps your defense off the field resting, and limits their opportunity, the other team's offense, the opportunity to score. And it helps protect your quarterback because he's not dropping back 55 straight times like he did against Chicago. And you also realize he dropped back 18 consecutive times to end the first half against Denver. 18 consecutive in the first half. We got to get out of this new age stuff. Win the battle in the trenches. So offensively, run the ball. And this team will be successful because the Giants can't stop the run. Flip it around. Flip it around defensively. What do you got to do defensively? We've talked about it over and over on our show. We saw this defensive change coming. This defense was going to start playing better. Why? Because once you got through that gauntlet of Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, running quarterbacks, they were going to start playing more of that Cinco package, the 5 defensive linemen, and attacking the other team's ability to run and attacking the quarterback and saying, hey, quarterback, you beat us from the pocket because we're not going to let this quarterback, this running game beat us. And for the rest of their schedule, you've got 11 games left. If Daniel Jones doesn't play, 10 of those games are against pocket quarterbacks, the likes of Geno Smith and Mac Jones and Matt Stafford and Brock Purdy. I'm not saying they can't beat you from the pocket, but there's statues back there, and you don't have to lay back like they were against Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields and allowing them to just sit back there and do what they want. So it's going to be different defensively against the Giants. They're going to do everything. Their entire game plan is going to be stop Saquon Barkley. That's what they need to do to beat the New York Giants defensively is stop Saquon Barkley. Tyrod Taylor cannot beat the Washington Commanders by himself. If he does, tip your cap to him and say, hey, that was the proper game plan, but you played a better game. I don't see it. I don't see how Tyrod Taylor, a career journeyman, a career average quarterback whose career record is 26-1. I don't see how he's going to just go back there and start picking you apart with guys like Wan'Dale Robinson, who's a little banged up, with Darius Slayton, with third-round pick Jalen Hyatt, who I really like, but they're not getting him involved, and Darren Waller. That's the guy you got to be scared of as well, and he's going to make plays. Tyrod Taylor's going to make throws. He's going to make plays, but he's not going to do them consistently enough for him to beat the Washington defense. They're going to make plays. They're going to score points. They're going to do all that. Saquon's going to have a 35-yard run at some point in the game. You just have to contain it for the most part throughout the game. Look at the offensive line for bring this up. The offensive line for the New York Giants. This is a tweet from Jordan Raanan, a beat reporter, I believe, for The Athletic. Sorry if I didn't attribute you to the proper source. But their offensive line is an absolute shambles. We saw on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football when they had Jordan Pugh, what's his name? It doesn't matter because he's not good. They had him coming off the couch and playing left guard, and then halfway through the game, less than halfway, he's playing left tackle because their backup left tackle got hurt. Andrew Thomas, their left tackle, he's out. He's not playing. Their center, their rookie center, John Michael Schmitz, he's out. Their right tackle, their starting right tackle, Evan Neal, he's out. Their other tackle, Matt Parrott, he's out. Josh Ezeudu, who replaced Andrew Thomas at left tackle, he's out. Shane Lemieux, I believe yesterday, tore his biceps in practice. He's out. And then J.C. Hassenauer. They're signing guys off other teams' practice squad to start. If Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, F.A. Obata, and Chase Young can't completely dominate this offensive line for the New York Giants, then they can't dominate anybody. And I believe they will dominate this game. You're going to see the same sort of game plan you saw against Atlanta, and you're going to see Cody Barton being able to get in and make plays because he's not going to have an offensive lineman coming out at him because you're going to have 5 defensive linemen taking up those 5 offensive linemen. That's what was successful against Atlanta. I just want to share that with you just a little bit. And also, by the way, I didn't even mention this at the beginning. We're going to have a real quick film session at the very end, real quick, 4 plays about Khaleke Hudson and why we think he should get more playing time. I just want to throw that out there as well. So let's get to, that's how you beat the Giants. Look, that's how you beat the Giants, plain and simple. You got to win the battle in the trenches, offensively and defensively. And Washington can do that. They have to do that to beat the Giants, to beat anybody on their schedule. Look, they got to face Jalen Hurts after this week. And that's a guy, look, he's basically Superman over there, and he's tough to defeat. But after that, like I said, you've got Mac Jones and Geno Smith and Matt Stafford and Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott and maybe Tyrod Taylor again. And who am I missing? Did I pretty much get it? Zach Wilson. I mean, these are guys that are not going to have a running game against you. Can they make plays with their legs? Yes, everybody can. But they don't design running plays like they do for the Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields of the world. Okay? You're seeing where I'm going? Just run the ball. 30 times minimum. Run the ball. Okay. Let's get past that. There was a crazy trade rumor that came out. PFF put it out there. And look, everybody's trying to get engagement. They're trying to get clicks, all that. We do it sometimes. It's just the nature of the beast. So I get it. But the hypothetical trade that PFF put out there was Chase Young to Baltimore for 2 third-round picks. This 2024 and 2025 third-round picks. That's what they put out there as a hypothetical trade. The trade deadline is less than 2 weeks away. I believe it's October 31st. So teams got to make decisions on whether they're going to trade guys. And as you know, we've got 4 defensive ends that are not under contract after this year. That includes, of course, really 5. That includes Chase and Montez, of course, who are not under contract. And the star of last week, Casey Toohill, James Smith-Williams, F.A. Obata, they're all on the last year of their contracts. Who are they going to sign? Who are they going to trade? Are they going to trade anybody in order to get something for them? Because one of those guys is walking at the end of the year. They're not signing both those defensive ends. They might not sign either one. They might go and sign Toohill and James Smith-Williams, and that's your ends for next year. Just saying. Their defense hasn't been spectacular with those guys, with Montez and Chase anyway. So why wouldn't you put your resources into other parts, mainly offensive line, defensive backs, things like that, going forward? So that was a trade rumor. Look, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'd do that trade. Uh-oh. Hit me in the comments. If you're mad, I would do that trade. 2 third-rounders for Chase Young. I'd do it. Sorry, I'd do it. If he really wants to be here, then you can re-sign him in the offseason after he becomes a free agent after being with Baltimore. I'm sorry. If you're mad at me, hit the like button. If you agree with me, hit that like button. All right, so the next one here is at practice today. They did practice. Both coordinators spoke in the press conferences. Didn't really say anything that we weren't expecting, but Kendall Fuller did not practice again today. Didn't practice yesterday, didn't practice today. That's not good. Aside from that rough game he had 2 games ago against the Bears and DJ Moore, he's been really solid this year. He's been very, very good. He was excellent against Atlanta with, what do you have? He had 9 tackles in that game against Atlanta. So keep an eye on that situation with Kendall Fuller, maybe not playing. Emmanuel Forbes time. He's going to be coming back probably. You're probably going to have Forbes and St. Just on the outside. Okay. And, of course, Danny Johnson acquitted himself quite well in this last game. So we'll see what happens with Kendall Fuller's knee. Interesting little tidbit here coming up for this game in that, as John Keim is reporting, the crew, the officials, the referees that are working this game are the same ones that worked last year, the game in which Terry McLaurin got called for being on the line of lining up on the line of scrimmage when they scored a touchdown. He checked with the guy, and the guy said he was fine and then threw a flag on him. You all remember that, right? So the touchdown didn't count. And then what happens? You had the pass interference that they did not call in the end zone, right? You remember that catch that Heineke just had to F it, throw it up there and see what happens. And then I think it was Dotson was getting just pummeled, or maybe it was Samuel. I can't remember. This I do know. We were at the game, and where we were sitting, that play happened right down in front of us, and we were screaming for pass interference. Anyway, it's the exact same crew. Oh, it was Samuel, as John Keim pointed out here. I probably should have read the whole thing. We were screaming that was pass interference, but it's the same crew that's going to be working this game that worked that game. So find that a little bit interesting. All right, before we go, listen, again, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I am going to do a real quick film session. It's not going to be anything fancy, but it's really interesting about Khaleke Hudson. He had 10 defensive snaps this past week against Atlanta. He made the most of them. He had 3 tackles. Well, he had 2 unassisted and 1 assisted tackle, and I'm going to show those plays here in this film session. So stick around, check it out. I won't keep you too long, but you're going to see why we think Khaleke Hudson should be getting more playing time. Okay, real quick, here's this film session with Khaleke Hudson that I wanted to share with you all. Again, the whole point is that we think Khaleke Hudson should get more playing time, and I'm going to show you why. First of all, here's Khaleke Hudson right here. This is the drive for the Falcons. And so let's see what we're looking at here first offensively. Atlanta's got, I don't know what they would call this, some sort of jumbo package. This is a huge lineup for them. They've got their 2 receivers here. That's London, that's Hollins. They're both like 6'4". They've got a fullback in here. They've got Algier, who's a big running back, and they've got their 3rd tight end, their running tight end. The guy they bring in for running plays tight end. It's not Jonnu Smith. It's not Kyle Pitts. So they're running the ball. So Washington has got the most basic defensive formation you'll ever see. It's a 4-3. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, 2 corners, 2 safeties. That's about as basic as it gets. But Washington doesn't run that very often, but they did here when Atlanta brought in those personnel here. I'm going to run the play from 2 angles, and then we'll go back and kind of pick it apart just a little bit. And again, keep your eye right here on Khaleke Hudson. All right, play. Here we go. Keep an eye on Khaleke coming up from the defensive left side, making the play on Algier. So that's the first angle. Then we're going to go back in. Here's Khaleke right here. And watch him make this play. All right. A fantastic play from Khaleke Hudson. Let's just point it out real quick. Again, here he is. He diagnoses what's going on right away. I don't know if you noticed this. He sees this play, what's going to happen. And he creeps up to the line. And if you look at Hollins right here, Hollins' assignment is to block Khaleke Hudson. And as soon as the ball is snapped, he's like, I can't get him. He got there too fast. So nobody is blocking Khaleke Hudson. And he attacks. He explodes towards the running back and chases him down from behind. The defensive line does a great job here of holding up those blocks so that that the running back doesn't have any holes. And then Khaleke Hudson comes from all the way from behind and makes an excellent tackle. And then again, here's the other look as they shifted into this formation of bringing the tight end up on the line and bringing the fullback. The linebackers shifted properly, and Khaleke knows what's going on here. Khaleke understands this diagram. He knows what's coming. So he says, I'm going to get on the line away from this block. If he stays over here, he's not making that tackle. If he stays basically where he's supposed to say, like Jamin's doing over here, he's supposed to be in that spot over here on the left side. And he says, nope, I know what's coming. I'm creeping up to the line of scrimmage. And then I'm going to use my biggest ability, which is speed. And I'm going to go right down the line and boom, I'm going to explode into that running back and make that tackle. And again, one more time from this angle. Sorry, that's it. Sorry, this is the end of that. Let's go to the next play. All right, here's the next play from Khaleke Hudson. This is later on in the drive. Here's Khaleke Hudson here. They're back to basically what they normally run, which is like a 4-2-5. They got 4 down linemen. You've got 2 linebackers, and then you've got 5 DBs. Okay, so Khaleke is in for this. I think probably Jamin is either getting a breather or maybe he dinged something, maybe he hurt something and had to come out for a couple of plays because Khaleke is in for a few plays here. So let's watch the design of this play from 2 different angles, and then we'll slow it down so we can check out what Khaleke does in here when he makes the tackle. Obviously, I'm showing you plays where he makes a play. And here he is again right here on this side and where he makes the play. I mean, listen, this is another fantastic read and react from Khaleke. They run the running back in motion out here. That's Cordero Patterson. Runs him to the right. Khaleke ain't going anywhere. He's not buying that. His eyes are right here where the football is. And he sees what's coming. He sees Bijan coming across. He knows his responsibility is to stay home and not get sucked in over there. So he stays home. And then he sees Bijan and he meets Bijan in the hole and he helps make the tackle with Jonathan Allen. And again, here's the other angle. Here's Khaleke. As the play progresses, he goes nowhere. Now, here's 2 offensive linemen. One of them should have blocked Khaleke, but they didn't. And, of course, Jonathan Allen does a nice job of getting off the block here and then turning right into Bijan, as Daron Payne does on this side. Khaleke fills that hole perfectly, doesn't go anywhere. And I like watching his feet, too. His feet are always moving. He's not standing still waiting. He's moving. And then, of course, he explodes up in there and helps Jonathan Allen make that tackle. Excellent play from Khaleke on that one. Now here is a 3rd and 8. It's the play right after that play. This is a 3rd and 8. Now watch Khaleke here. He does make the tackle, but let's watch what happens here. Watch him right here. Bijan catches the pass out in space, gets a first down all the way down to about the 21-yard line. Nice play design. Again, here's Khaleke. Let's watch what happens when he moves out here. Boop. Bumps into St-Juste and creates that wide open space. Okay, so what happens? Real quick, again, I'm trying not to take too long on this, but this is so much fun. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Another good play design. Washington is basically in a man-to-man, as you'll see when we go along here. And when they move that receiver out of there, St-Juste has got nobody to cover. So he's kind of in no man's land. And Khaleke's responsibility is Bijan. But as soon as he sees Bijan going out into the flat, he takes off. But what happens? He runs right into St-Juste, who St-Juste is now trying to get out here to cover the tight end Kyle Pitts to help out on that. And they run into each other, and that's what gets them wide open. And by the way, if they had thrown to this side, they had wide open too, because it was a really good play design for the Falcons. And then if you look at it from this angle, again, here's Khaleke right here. St-Juste is over here. His man goes across, so he's got no responsibility right now. So he basically gets in the way of Khaleke Hudson. And Khaleke runs into him right here, which frees up the space for Bijan to get a big play and a first down. Okay, now here is the 2-point conversion. I'm going to run it again. And again, here is Khaleke right here. And watch him make this play on that 2-point conversion attempt. Excuse me, sorry. And then here is the other angle. Again, here's Khalid right here. Another fantastic play from Khalid as he recognizes what's going on here. He keeps that feet moving. He avoids the block. And as soon as he gets past those blockers, then he gets right back into that hole. And with the help, again, of Jonathan Allen, gets right into that hole and meets the running back straight on and stops him from getting into the end zone for that 2-point conversion. I don't think Jonathan Allen could have held him up for that 1 yard if not for the help of Khalid Hudson, who stopped that forward progress from going. Just an awesome play from Khalid Hudson. Okay, this is what Khalid Hudson brings to this Washington defense. Speed and IQ and understanding, and he brings force. So I think he deserves a little bit more playing time. I hope you enjoyed the film session, all the stuff that we did here in the Daily Commanders Update. We appreciate all of you so much. Continue to support the channel and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on audio, which might not be too exciting to me showing a film session on audio, but hit a rating and review on audio as well. And of course, comments. We look at them all, we listen to them all, and we respond to them all. We appreciate you all. And until next time, be a fan.